If you're tired of creepy crawlies invading your space and you don't want to use toxic sprays, you're going to love this. Today, we're breaking down 9 genius ways to get rid of pests using nothing but baking soda. Let's jump right in. 1. Ants. Got ants? We've got an easy-peasy homemade ant killer recipe using baking soda, and it's non-toxic. Here's how to make this DIY ant killer using only 2 household ingredients. Here is what you will need: baking soda, powdered sugar, jar lids, or something similar to hold the bait. A large container is not necessary, and a measuring spoon. Firstly, combine 1 part baking soda with 1 part powdered sugar. Normally, a 3/4 tablespoon of each, mixed together directly in a jar lid, works well. Place the mixture in strategic locations and wait for the baking soda to do its thing. You can use a jar lid or something similar to keep the bait contained, or you can place it directly on the surface where the ants are prevalent. If you've got a sweet tooth, know that ants do as well. The powdered sugar is an attractant for ants, as they are foraging for water and a source of energy. When you mix powdered sugar with baking soda, however, the ants not only get their sugar fix, but also a dose of sodium hydrogen carbonate. The sodium will react with certain acids within the ant, causing a chemical reaction that will dehydrate its exoskeleton and ultimately lead to the ant's expiration. 2. Bed bugs. Baking soda is a natural and effective way to kill bed bugs. It works by dehydrating the insects, which leads to their death. The science behind this process is simple. Baking soda absorbs moisture from the air, creating an environment that's too dry for bed bugs to survive in. The first step in using baking soda to kill bed bugs is preparing your home for treatment. Start by vacuuming all areas of your house where you suspect there may be infestations, including furniture, carpets, and other fabrics like curtains or clothing. This will help remove any eggs or larvae that may be present before you begin treating with baking soda. Once your home has been prepared for treatment, it's time to apply the baking soda solution. To do this effectively, sprinkle a generous amount of baking soda onto all surfaces where you think there might be bedbug activity, such as mattresses and box springs. Then vacuum up any excess powder after about 15 minutes or so. Repeat this process every few days until no more signs of activity are seen on those surfaces. Using baking soda as a pest control method does have its pros and cons, though. While it can effectively kill bed bugs without exposing yourself or your family to harsh chemicals found in traditional insecticides, it also takes longer than other methods because it needs multiple applications over several days before being fully effective against these pests. Additionally, some people find the smell of baking powder unpleasant when used indoors. If this applies to you, then consider using essential oils instead. Finally, once treatment has been completed, don't forget about cleaning up afterwards. Vacuum again thoroughly throughout each room, paying special attention around baseboards. Then wash all sheets and linens at high temperatures, at least 120 degrees Fahrenheit, in order to ensure any remaining eggs are destroyed completely before they hatch into new generations of pests. Getting rid of bed bugs can be a daunting task, but baking soda is an effective and natural way to do it. 3. Fleas. Baking soda comes into its own when you use it as a means of stamping out fleas from your home. It makes no sense to tirelessly work on getting rid of fleas on your pets, and then you don't treat the environment. Your pooch or kitty will get reinfected, and you will not get away without being bitten either. So get hold of a box of baking soda, a packet of table salt, and let's get started. Get yourself a decent-sized plastic tub, punch some holes in the lid, and voila! You have a handy container to sprinkle powder evenly onto your carpets. Fill the bottle with equal portions of salt and baking soda, mix together, and now you are ready to get shaking. Liberally sprinkle this mixture over your carpet. Make sure that you cover every bit of the surface to ensure you don't miss any fleas. Leaving just a few behind can result in the infestation starting all over again, which you obviously want to avoid at all costs. Using a stiff bristled broom, brush the powder and salt down into the carpet. You want to get the dehydrating ingredients down to the base of the fibers, where fleas lay eggs to get rid of the pests and their larvae. This should take about 5 minutes or so per room. This is the part that requires you to be patient. Leave the salt and baking powder on your carpet for at least 12 hours. You can do this overnight, and in the morning, you will be able to vacuum up all the dried out, dead fleas from your carpet. Empty your vacuum into a plastic bag, seal it up to ensure that no death-defying flea can escape, and discard the bag in your garbage. Don't stress too much if you haven't sucked up every last bit of the mixture out of your carpets. These natural ingredients won't harm your carpet fibers like other commercial carpet cleaners. Whatever is left over will continue the dehydrating process, which is bad news for fleas. Also, the alkaline properties of the powder will neutralize acidic odors, leaving your carpet smelling lovely. If you're wondering how to use baking soda to get rid of fleas on your pets, fortunately, baking soda is safe to use directly on our pooches and even on our picky felines. One of the most effective ways of using this powder is to perform a baking soda bath for your pet, especially for dogs. But let's look at 3 options. Make a baking soda-based flea spray. Use this for your dog or your cat. Your kitty will much prefer a gentle spray of this formula instead of being dunked into a baking soda bath. Using a spray bottle, mix 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon sea salt, 1 cup apple cider vinegar, and 1 cup of warm water together. Spray carefully over your pet, avoiding his face or any sensitive areas. The salt and apple cider can make this spray sting, so make sure that you don't spray onto any open cuts, grazes, or sores in delicate skin. Massage into your pet's coat for a fresh-smelling, flea-free coat. Reapply every few days and see how the flea population diminishes. The second option is to use baking soda as a dry pet shampoo. Baking soda is known to be a great cleaning agent, so put it to great use by giving your pet a dry shampoo. Rubs down that will do more than just freshen up his or her coat. Getting the powder down into his fur will leave a residue that will coat fleas enough to dehydrate them. Apply in any way that works for you, using your sprinkler tub or just your fingers, and massage into your pet's coat. Always avoid your pet's face, but be sure to rub carefully into those favorite flea spots: behind ears, back of neck, and base of the tail. When you are satisfied that you've done a great job, take a small towel and rub off any excess baking soda. You don't want your pet licking off and ingesting too much of the powder. You can also make a baking soda bath for dog fleas. Place a quarter of a cup of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 5 drops of lavender or lemongrass oil, which is great for keeping fleas away, with 2 cups of warm water. Rub this mixture into the fur, avoiding his face. Brush or comb through your pooch's fur, getting the ingredients down to his skin. Leave on for at least 5 minutes, longer if your doggy is happy to allow you. Next, just give him a rub down with a dry towel to get off any excess moisture, and repeat once a week. 4. Aphids. Baking soda is one of the most effective ways to kill aphids in your garden, and it's easy to find in a kitchen pantry. You're going to need baking soda, water, mild dish soap, olive or vegetable oil and vinegar, although this is optional. Step 1 in the process is to mix half a teaspoon of baking soda with 2 cups of warm water and 1/3 of a cup of oil in a bowl. Then add 4 to 5 drops of liquid dish soap into your mixture. Doing so helps spread the solution more evenly across plants for maximum coverage. Give it all a good stir and you're ready to move on to step 2. If you want to give this solution a little insect fighting boost, add a teaspoon of vinegar. Step 2 is the spray. Once you've mixed up your solution, it's time for the fun part: spraying. First, give your plant a good shake before spraying. Doing so helps dislodge beneficial insects such as ladybugs or other pollinators that may be present and prevents them from getting sprayed. Then spray the entire plant, underside of the leaves and stems as well, with the baking soda mixture, focusing on areas where you see signs of aphid activity. After spraying, keep an eye out for signs of new aphid activity in the days to come. If you notice more aphids on your plant, repeat once per week the process until they are all gone. Although it's tempting to use baking soda for every garden need, there are some caveats to consider before using it in the garden. One of the primary considerations when using baking soda outdoors is pH balance. Baking soda is alkaline and has a slightly high pH level, which means you should use it with caution. Adding too much baking soda makes the soil too alkaline, making it less suitable for growing plants since an overly alkaline environment may cause nutrient deficiencies and other issues. Also, baking soda may burn foliage if you apply it in concentrated quantities, so proper dilution is important before applying it to plants. Lastly, avoid baking soda if you're growing acid-loving plants such as blueberries, azaleas, or rhododendrons since it makes the soil more alkaline. 5. Cockroaches. Cockroaches are attracted to sugary and starchy foods, not baking soda. The best thing to mix with baking soda to create a trap is sugar. Combine equal parts sugar and baking soda in a small bowl and then sprinkle it in corners near your kitchen or other parts of your home where you've spotted the roaches. The sugary smell will attract roaches to the mixture and lead them to eat it. Once they've ingested the mixture, all there's left to do is wait for the baking soda to react inside the roaches. Unlike chemical insecticides, baking soda is not an immediate solution for roaches. It should take about 12 to 24 hours for roaches to die after consuming the baking soda mixture. The timing may vary depending on how much baking soda was ingested and how much water the roaches have consumed. To ensure you've gotten every last roach in your home, continue to sprinkle the mixture around your home for a few days until you don't see any more live roaches scurrying about. The biggest benefit of using baking soda to kill roaches is that it's pet and child-friendly. Baking soda doesn't contain any harmful chemicals and isn't dangerous to children or pets unless it is ingested in large amounts. After sprinkling the baking soda mixture around spots where you saw the roaches, keep an eye on your pets or children to ensure they don't eat all of the piles and ruin the trap you've set for the roaches. But don't worry if your pets or children end up consuming some of the baking soda. 6. Spider mites. A baking soda spray can be an effective method for managing spider mites on plants, particularly as a preventative measure or for mild infestations. A solution of baking soda, soap, and oil can help suffocate and repel spider mites, while also deterring fungal growth. To make this spider mite killing spray, you'll need 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of baking soda, some liquid dishwashing soap, and a liter of lukewarm water. Begin by mixing the apple cider vinegar and baking soda with some liquid dishwashing soap in a small container. Stir in the lukewarm water to create a solution, and then transfer it to a spray bottle, ensuring it's well mixed. You can then use this solution to spray on areas where spider mites seem to be hanging around. This concoction works due to the combination of apple cider vinegar's acidity and the pest-killing attributes of baking soda. The apple cider vinegar disrupts the spider mites' cell membranes, weakening and ultimately killing them. The baking soda enhances the effectiveness of apple cider vinegar by drying out the pests, suffocating them with carbon dioxide, and acting as an abrasive that penetrates their bodies. Meanwhile, the liquid dish soap improves the adherence of the solution to the leaves, stems, or any plant parts you spray the solution on. When you spray this mixture on your infested plants, it not only helps kill existing spider mites, but also acts as a deterrent for future infestations. Repeat the application every few days until the infestation is under control. 7. Silverfish. Baking soda is a repellent for silverfish because it dries out their environment. To dehydrate silverfish, you can sprinkle baking soda directly onto the soil around plants or in areas where you've seen them. For inside the house, another effective solution is to mix a bit of baking soda with a cup of water and a tablespoon of honey into a bowl. When you've mixed the ingredients into a paste, you can place a bit on paper or cardboard to lure them. Once they consume the mixture, they will quickly dehydrate and die. This is an excellent natural option for hard-to-reach cracks and crevices. 8. Fungus gnats. Gnats are small flying insects that breed frequently and are often found in swarms. They are attracted to decomposing organic matter, such as rotting fruit, and are commonly found near sinks, drains, and potted plants. Baking soda can be used to create a gnat repellent spray. To make this spray, dissolve 1 tablespoon of baking soda into a gallon of water. You can then add 1 to 2 half tablespoons of neem oil and a few drops of dish liquid to the solution. This mixture can be transferred to a spray bottle and spritzed onto plants that are struggling with gnats. The sodium bicarbonate acts as a fungicide, while the neem oil helps to get rid of gnats. Alternatively, a mixture of 1 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of baking soda, and 3 drops of dish soap can be combined in a spray bottle and misted on the top of the dirt of potted plants. The dish soap helps to suffocate the gnats, while the baking soda dehydrates and eliminates their larvae. It is important to note to use baking soda sparingly, as it can affect the pH of the soil and may be harmful to the roots of the plants. Additionally, to prevent gnat infestations in potted plants, it is recommended to avoid overwatering, remove dead leaves, provide adequate air circulation, and repot plants that have outgrown their containers. 9. Slugs and snails. Baking soda is a versatile compound that can significantly impact snails and slugs due to its dehydrating properties. Baking soda is hygroscopic, attracting and retaining water molecules from its surroundings. When snails and slugs come into contact with baking soda, it absorbs the moisture from their soft bodies, leading to dehydration and ultimately causing harm to these pests. Sprinkling a thin line of baking soda around the perimeter of your garden beds or plants can act as a protective barrier against snails and slugs. The baking soda irritates their soft bodies, discouraging them from crossing the barrier. Reapply the baking soda after rain or watering to maintain its effectiveness. Certain plants are more prone to slug and snail problems and may benefit from using baking soda as a deterrent. For example, hostas, cabbage, and lilies. There you have it. 9 powerful, proven ways to use baking soda to fight off pests. Cheap, safe, and surprisingly effective. If you found this helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more eco-friendly home tips, and let me know in the comments which pest drives you crazy and which one of these tricks you're going to try first. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy this next video on how to get rid of pests with Dawn dish soap.